Hey everyone! I just wanted to clarify something for you all before we got started. I'm not trying to speak for all black people in these vlogs. I'm not even trying to speak for all girls at STA. If you're watching this in the right mindset, you're realizing that you're just hearing the thoughts and perspective of one black girl who's also a unique human being, but is living a life that's lived as a minority. I just want to share my experience with you guys. However, when I say that we're not so different after all, I'm referring to me and you. We're sharing in this human experience, and life is a pretty crazy thing. We all experience happiness, anger, love, and hurt. In that way, I think that we're more similar than what appear on the surface. And that's what I mean by we're not so different after all. So let's get started. Here's the question of the week. What's the best way for people who are not black to stand up to racism and racial injustice? I feel that in my experience, my actions may be taken the wrong way and are seen as overbearing. I just want to help fight the good fight. How can I do so in a way that is respectful and helpful? I appreciate this question so much because it means that the person cares enough to want to help and obviously has already been trying to do so. People may tell you it's overbearing to think you can speak for a group of people, especially when you don't belong to them. But I think it's overbearing for people to tell you what you can and cannot do, especially when you're following your conscience. People who say or act as if you're overbearing may just feel intimidated by you or what you're saying. For instance, if you're saying something they don't agree with, the easy target would just be to say, "You're not even black, how would you know?" Then they don't really have to focus on what you're saying. And sometimes, even those you're trying to stand for may seem to be against you. Sure, you can speak as an African American, but I don't see the problem with standing for them. Others might not agree. I'd encourage you to listen to what they say. Take it into consideration, but don't stop fighting. You won't always be right, but at least you're standing for something. The civil rights movement wasn't just fought by African Americans. It was fought by people of all colors and nationalities. It was fought by humans who stood for other humans. And that's a beautiful thing. I found this great article about how whites were essential in the civil rights movement, and I suggest you read it. I'll link it down below in Darkness Online. For things you could do every day, my advice would just be to speak out. Don't let your friends or family make racist comments without checking them. Don't sit quietly while people act unjustly. It seems small, but you never know whose perspective you can change. However, try not to make a big deal of yourself either. It is overbearing when a non-black person talks about the African American experience more than a black person would. Come from a place of humility, realizing that you cannot possibly know what it's like to be black if you aren't, but also realizing that you're in a position of privilege. You not only have the ability to make a change, you have the responsibility to do so. Whether the privilege is being white, whether it's having a lot of money, whatever it is, you can make a change. So I think you should do it. Lastly, people will really respect you if you aren't all talk. I mean, I'm sure people in the civil rights movement had a lot to say about the injustices that blacks dealt with. But when they went out and marched alongside those they were trying to help, it made a statement that words never could. No matter what color you are, it's important to fight for justice, whether it's justice for your own community or for people you've never met. As Dr. Martin Luther King said, no one is free until we all are free. Leave your questions in the Google form or comment down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.